to see you. Good to be with you. Ha! We've entered into that month, that special month called December. Christmas is in the air. People are getting ready to get hooked up. People are getting ready to get married. That thing called marriage. Do we even understand it? Is there anyone who even understands this whole concept of marriage? Does anyone go into it expecting to get what he or she really thought of? Anyway, today we are going to find out what is marriage. And since we are women and it's a platform for the feminine voice, we will also find out who is a wife. Who is a wife? Is she that woman who gives sex 24/7 on demand, like blood tonic, 7 times a week, morning, afternoon, evening? Or she's the one who is in the kitchen all the time preparing fresh food all the time? Well, my name remains Ohineyere Gifty Auntie. By virtue of my name, you know I'm married to a chief. But hey, you remember quite recently I was given the title Yokama by the people of Manya Krobo, and I don't joke with it. I just love the title, Yokama. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth. This is their new fabric on the market, their new cloth on the market. It's called Adipa-Dumas. Adipa-Dumas. It is rich. It is, quality, and it has different shades and bold designs. You should go to the market. Christmas is coming. Just go to the market and get some for yourself. I just love it. So this is GTP Adipa-Dumas. And this dress was sewn for me. It was made for me by Shika Geoglavi, that Chic collection. Thank you so much, Shika, for my dress. Papa Cosmetics, as usual, gives us the makeup products. Hey, go get yourself some makeup products. They are having, a special program of products, testing and sampling. So go there, have a wonderful time, buy something for yourself. Every girl deserves some good makeup, and that's where to go get your makeup products. Makeup applied by Makeup and More. Your wedding coming up, Adoring, what have you, call Gloria and her team. Makeup and More, they'll be there to do the makeup for you. Also say thank you to Sun Beats and All. Sun Beats and All, because they do all. Whatever the occasion, they will give you the beads. They gave me the bracelet, they gave me the necklace, they gave me earring. So please, just get in touch with them. We take a break. When we come back, what is marriage and who is a wife? We'll be back. Welcome back to the Stand Fun. Yes, once again, I remind you that's the season where you can smell Christmas, where you can see people preparing feverishly for that thing called marriage. Nothing, will go through the year to pass through here and then and there. And everything is, about getting ready for marriage and the wedding and the Christmas wedding and, 24th night and 1st January, yes. So today we are going to find out what is marriage and indeed who is a wife. Let me say thank you to our supporters. This Got You Got, as a woman, you got it very good for you. So try and get, and hey, obviously, even as you prepare to get married, your reception, just get some Got You Got and get Cake Technique and add to it. It's excellent, Say thank you to Cake Technique as well. House of Foods, excellent meals. You can go to them. Tell them that you heard about them on the Standpoint. So they should give you a discount when they cater for your wedding reception. We also say thank you to Yep Cleaning Services. They take care of our environment. They make sure that our environment is very clean. Awake Purified Mineral Water by Casa Preco and Royal Drinks. I can't thank them enough. Thank you very much. And when you're having a reception, that's what you go for. That's where you go to and get everything done. Remember, this program is also aired on ABN TV on Sky Channel 195, which is across Western Europe, parts of Canada and Asia, and Virgin TV Channel 842 in UK. Our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, is powered by Dream Oval. On my panel today, Seated right next to me is Madame Sherry Thompson, who we called Mama Lou. She says every poo deserves a loo. You know, she hates the fact that people do it outside there. So she is on it, has been on a campaign, and everybody calls her Mama Lou. Yes, that's it. Not as in Lucy or Louisa. It's a Lou, as in Lou. Yes, that one, Lou. So Mama Lou is the founder and chairman, consultant, global Resolve Africa, yep. Sunshade Energy, right. Space to Share, Made in Ghana Brand Ambassador 2018, Ministry of Trade and Industry. Welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you.
Seated next to her, I have Dr. Ruth Bernice ASHIDAM-ADIGBO. Okay, she is a specialist family physician at the Trust Hospital. Good to have you on the Standpoint. Tell your husband he's coming next. Next to Dr. Ruth Bernice ASHIDAM-ADIGBO is Dr. Juliet Chumesi Anochi. Now, Dr. Juliet Chumesi Anochi is a principal consultant, Anojul, and a free, and she is the patron of these beautiful ladies here. We call them Daughters of Deborah, based at the Trinity Baptist Church. That's my church. And they are doing amazing. These are the executives. They are doing amazing. She's a mentor to all of us. And most of the time, I like to sit behind her in church. That one I'll tell you later. Okay. Dr. J, how long have you been married?
26 years.
26 years.
Yes. 26 and a half. Actually.
26 and a half. Going on 27.
Yes.
Now, Dr. A. Married for?
I think you have to divide hers by 5 to get mine. So about 5 years.
About 5 years, okay.
Yeah.
And Mama Lou, you were married for how long?
21 years.
You would and be divorced for, separated for how long now?
9 years.
Separated for 9 years now,
yeah.
You know. How would you describe marriage?
I used to think it was a partnership, but I've changed my mind. Because a partnership sounds so business-like. And partners tend to come with their part, and the other comes with their part. That's why it's partner. But marriage, you better come with your whole, and he should come with his whole. So that it's a holistic relationship that encompasses your psychological, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual well-being. That's marriage.
Do you think you went in with your part at the time you were married?
I went in with my whole. And I didn't realize that I don't think he knew his whole. See, when you go into marriage, you're supposed to know, who am I? What am I? Where am I? And when am I? These are the 4 things you must ask yourself. And you must have the answer.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Let me go to Dr. Juliet. I'll put you on the spot, Dr. Juliet. I mean, your girls are here. And you mentor a lot of people. We see you, and I'm one of those. We see you with your husband. You're like kids, you know, lovey-dovey, even in church.
You're kissing.
I mean, what? Yeah. They are pinching each other.
Oh, nice.
In church, there's something, and they're laughing and all that. It's what we see the two of you portray. Is that what is marriage?
Yes. Yes, I would say yes, and yes again. My husband and I have, for the 26 or so years that we've been married, we've grown together. Essentially, at the bottom of our relationship is a deep friendship and a deep respect for one another. My husband is a lawyer. I am also a lawyer. In our home, we have respect for one another. Okay. The way I see marriage, my view of marriage has obviously evolved over the 26 years that we've been married. And we went into marriage understanding that, marriage is not a bed of roses, but you can also make it work if you work at it. And before I went into marriage, I had seen so many marriages around me, including my parents' marriage, that I wasn't happy about. Because a lot of the marriages I had seen had become master-servant relationship, a lot of bullying, and, you know, people telling women that you have to submit all the time and nothing else. So I was determined that if I'm married, I'm going to have a completely different marriage. But I was under no illusions that this is something that you have to continually work at. So I went into marriage, to pick up on what Mama Lou said, I went into marriage with my whole being, with everything. I jumped in head first and said, I've met a man, I've fallen in love with him, he's fallen in love with me, we get on very well. Hey, let's make this work. So if you see us outside, my husband is my best friend. He's the only one I can gossip with, you know, because if you mentioned we sit in church and we're cracking a joke. Well, it's a safe space. For me, it's a safe space. I can crack a joke with my husband knowing full well that whatever we've said isn't going to come out. Equally, he can also crack a joke with me knowing that this is my wife and it's not going to go out. It doesn't mean that we don't have disagreements, but over the years, what we've learned is how to resolve conflict, how to build a Christian marriage, and how to build a Christian home. So it is possible if you know how to make marriage work. You need to. I think the mistake a lot of people make is they go into marriage and think that, oh, it will just work. No, it won't. You have to work at it.
Dr. A, so the whole thing is that you don't just jump in and immediately are comfortable. You jump in knowing that there's work to be done.
Yeah.
But what is 5 years?
So as a very young girl, I thank God that he found me early enough. And I made a conscious decision that if my life should reflect his glory, then every decision has to be okayed by him, especially who I marry and when I get married. So everybody got married and left me. And people kept asking me, what is wrong with you? What are you waiting for?
Beautiful girl. You got everything, all the features.
When?
And then they kept coming. It's like, but this guy is good. What is wrong with this one too, you know? And then there was even a time, you know, and that's another thing, that when you're a Christian, you're so eager to please God that sometimes you may listen to somebody who says he's heard from God when you haven't heard. And then you just go with what the person has said. Because at a point in time, there was a gentleman who was so aggressive about it that all the pastors around managed to hear God say, yes, he's the one. But I just knew it wasn't. And I said, God, if it really is not, let me know. And I kept having scary dreams. And I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to wait. So from the time I made the decision to wait, I waited for 6 years. And I wasn't dating. And everybody was, you know.
Wait. 6 years?
Yes.
You didn't date?
No.
Daughters of Deborah. Daughters of Deborah. Wow. How old were you then?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You were in medical school.
Yes. So right from the very end of medical school, so from the time I was about, let's say, 23 or 24, I didn't date anybody.
Till you were like 29.
Yes. And I always prayed for grace to be patient and to wait. I think that period of waiting brought extreme patience in me, which I'm seeing, you know, the effect of it, you know. So finally, when I met my husband, it was strange that I actually ended up marrying somebody I knew from university. And then he said, do you remember when I saw you? Now he says, I told you I'll marry you. And you looked at me and said, oh, but this boy, are you being serious? You know? And even then, I still wasn't convinced he was what God's will was for me. So I told him, you know what? I need to hear from God. So you go pray about it. And now he tells me he's only prayed as much 2 times in his life. When his mother was on the sick bed and when he wanted to get married to me. So we both prayed together. And I had the release of God about it and got married at almost 30 when everybody else was married. And trust me, it's not because I think I made a good decision. At the end of the day, everything was smooth and rosy. Goodness me, the first year of marriage was like, it was a lot of crying, shutting myself in the toilet. And we're like, why in the world did I make this decision? Because I realize now that the facade is off, all bets are, you know, and this is the real person.
Yeah.
And you have to know that you are not the center of your world anymore. You guys need to. So somebody drew a pyramid that if you have a relationship with God and your husband has a relationship with God, you always need to think about yourselves with reference to God. So if you're doing something, always ask if, you know, that's what God will expect of you. You know, I had to let my pride down. I had to let go of what I considered my rights, and decide not to be a strong person about things. And it's been a learning process. It's still a learning process. And I really hope to get to where you are one day. But it's a journey, and I'm still on it.
It's the God that we know who has, taken you through all these things. And then there's something called divine connection.
Yes, yes.
God works in mysterious ways. Look at the story she has to say.
Very good, very good.
Definitely. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Really, a very revealing program. And Mama Lou, would you say you were unlucky in marriage?
I would say I did not wait patiently.
Why would you say that? Because it was an abusive marriage.
Well, but if I had married and if I had waited for God to tell me who to marry instead of jumping into marriage,
Okay.
I would have had a different result. But I jumped in with a person who I believe wasn't ready to have me as a wife. I'm just going to say it like that.
And you're making excuses. Because if he wasn't ready, why did he marry you then?
I believe that, well, of course, I had a child before the marriage.
Okay.
He wanted to be with his child. He didn't necessarily want to be with me. And that's what happens when you go out of order. You see, I'm here to present, so you have the good, the bad, the ugly.
No, you are the reality. The reality.
The reality.
You are all the reality. And there are different sides to reality. Yeah.
God being so good, he does work it out to your favor.
Yeah.
He allows certain things to happen. Because you're his child, he will allow. But this is not what he had in mind. And so after some years of the domestic violence, abuse, and all the insults and all the things that were going on, I asked God, is this what you had in store for me? And he said, audible voice, no. And that's when I left. My children had gotten to a certain age. One of my children actually said, it's about time. You should have done that before.
Someone told me that you stayed in because of your kids.
I did.
That you stayed in for too long.
I did. Because I wanted them to, first of all, I wanted them to grow up in Ghana. Because I'm from the US. I actually wanted them to have Ghana as a point of reference. Okay, it was a sacrifice for me, but it was worth it. I believe because my kids are who they are today, and they vindicate me all the time, that it was worth it. But when it got to a certain place where I saw that they had their own characteristics and everything was nice and they're who they are, I asked God the question, and he said no. And that's when I said, okay, time to leave. Time to leave.
But was it difficult for you to leave?
No, it wasn't. That was another miracle, because I thought that day that I had packed up in front of his face that there was going to be some fight, some things, some screaming, some yanking, some all-out, blows and everything. Angels sat on this situation. And I walked out of that door, everything packed in 2 taxis, and nothing was said. It was 3 days later that I think he woke up and realized, I'm gone. And then the stalking occurred.
Stalked you?
Oh, he was a stalker.
At the time that you decided to raise your children in Ghana and you were coming to, did you know anybody in Ghana?
Oh.
Did you have any family or friend?
No.
You just came?
Like that, pa. Oh. It was
And so you've been in Ghana for how long now?
22 years.
22 years.
And counting.
Counting.
For me, if I had known about the culture of marriage here, that was my mistake. You said it. I had no reference point at all whatsoever. There is a culture of marriage. You must know about it. It is not just you and him. It is the whole family. What?
You saw Pepe.
Oh! Do not make this mistake. Know who the family is. Know how they are. All the things that you learn about traditionally that you're supposed to do in marriage here. Please do it.
Please do it. But Dr. Juliet, does it really matter in marriage for the families to be involved? Not like directly, but know who they are and how to maybe manage the family.
I think it's very important. You know, we can't move away from our culture. So when you're going into a marriage, you need to do your homework. You know, many years ago, our fathers and, you know, our mothers, when someone was going to marry, they would do their background search and discover which family is my daughter going in, which, you know, sometimes because in those days, people had their own mindset, sometimes they used that information to the disadvantage of the couple. And, you know, people were tribalistic. No, I'm not going to allow you to marry X, Y, Z. No, that is not what I'm talking about. But you need to do your own intelligence. You see, before you go in, you need to prayerfully ask God for favor as you go into that marriage. Because, you know, we a lot of times complain about mothers-in-law and all the rest of it because, oh, she's come to steal my son and all the rest. Your prayer as you go into the marriage is that I want them to see that I haven't taken their son, they've gained a daughter. You know, I want my family to also see that my husband hasn't come to steal their daughter, but they have also gained a son.
Yeah.
So you need to prayerfully look at, you know, the characteristics of the family you're married. Make an effort. You know, sometimes the reality of the matter is we don't make an effort. And we complain that, oh, my husband's wife doesn't like me or all the rest of it.
Well, his mother is a witch.
My mother is a witch. You know, I mean, whose mom is a witch? You know, everyone's mom is special. So, you know, no one's going to take kindly if you go into their family and you tell them that some prophet has revealed to me that your mother is a witch. I mean, that is, the relationship is destroyed right from the outset. So you need to do your homework. Find out a bit about this family. Get to know them.
So do you think, you know, younger women or women who are marrying around this time seems to take things for granted?
To use me, for instance, I'm very blessed to have a very good husband. And one of my friends kept telling me, you know what, your husband is a very good man. You need to make sure that what you have to do as a woman, you do it. Don't take things for granted, to use the word that she said. Don't say that, oh, I have a good husband, so he's going to do the right thing. I have a good husband, I don't expect him to ever cheat on me. So you just, you know, kind of relax and stop working at it. Because I realized that when that happens, then a lot of confusion starts. So we went through a place where we're like fighting almost every day. And you don't even know what you're fighting about. But it's things that probably he's expecting you to do and you didn't do. Then you begin to make mental notes. And then you begin to set barriers in your heart without knowing. And I had to come to the point to realize that, look, young lady, this is a journey you're on and you need to make sure you play the role appropriately. I need to make sure that I find out from him what he would want and not always want to make my will happen. And for me, that is also helping. And I'm still on a journey, like I said, but every day I learn something new.
We'll be back. Welcome back. This is The Standpoint. This program is also aired on ABN TV, which is on Sky Channel 195 across Western Europe, part of Canada and Asia. We are also on Virgin TV, thanks to ABN TV again. Now, Mama Lou.
Yes.
Were you a good wife? No, were you a wife? I don't want to qualify that, you know, because a wife should be a wife.
Yes.
Were you a wife in the marriage?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Here's why. Okay. Let me say this. in the vows, we talk about submission. And there's that word submission. Sub to a mission. The man has to have a mission for you to be sub to. If he doesn't have a mission, it's 0, 0, 0. You are sub to 0. That's sub 0. That's a very cold place to be. And so if I'm there and I'm trying to be sub to 0, it's not happening. So I can be a good wife, but what's happening is sub-zero. It's cold. It's frosty.
So there's nothing you can do
There's
about
nothing you can do about it.
You think you gave it your best shot?
I gave it my best shot. And actually, when I look at my children, and I say they vindicated me, I look at my children. I look at what they do. I look at how they do what they are doing now. There are moments that they have, their challenges, their situations, but they have a foundation in Christ. Like I said, the kids, are also part of the marriage. And so if the kids are doing well, you feel like the marriage is working, you're achieving something. And for women, as a wife, you want certain things out of a marriage. You want security, you want stability, and you want to be able to say you've accomplished something. And those are the three things. Apart from that, yes, sex should be there, And one of the things I got a little upset at, if I should say it, is that every time, he wanted sex, it would be like something like this, I'm like, so don't they have any way to ask for sex in Ga? So, I went to study the thing. So I got a friend of MD. She was the secretary of the MD to this bank. I don't want to say it. And she wrote down the Ga, and I'm studying the Ga. So that when he comes back, because he didn't stay in Ghana, he stayed in Chicago, and he would come down. So I wanted to be able to ask for sex in Ga. I was excited, There's some things that, even though your marriage is some way, if you can accomplish some few things, So, I'm studying, and then he comes down and he goes into my bag. Please, if you're a man, you're sitting there, don't be going into your wife's bag. It's not fair, okay? You too, don't be going into his pockets. Okay, it's my right. No, please, it's his place. That's his privacy. He goes into my bag, finds the note, and thinks that some man has written the note to me. Hey, the blows. Me too. If you blow me, I'll blow you. That didn't sound right.
That's okay. You hit me, I hit you.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, 2 weeks, we are back and forth on this. And he didn't believe that I was just studying the Ga so that I can, make the marriage juicy. So if you don't even have this kind of level of trust, if you have all this jealousy all the time, your marriage cannot work with these things. It's very negative. It's caustic. It's toxic.
You want to add something to that?
Yes, I just wanted to very quickly. I know we've nearly run out of time, so I wouldn't say much, but I wanted to touch very briefly on the issue of submission. And,
because I was actually going to come to you.
If you look at what the Bible is talking about, the Bible brought the woman, as in the Hebrew, as the Ezer. The Ezer is much stronger than just a helpmeet. The Ezer, the Bible says that God brought a woman who was corresponding to the man. They are correspondent. So it's like we are the same, but we are opposite.
Comparable.
Because if you look at Genesis chapter 1, God talks about the fact that he made man, male and female, he made them. So right from the beginning, Right from the beginning, she was there. You go to Genesis 2, the actual physical formation of woman, where God now takes woman out of man. God, in his wisdom, didn't create like he did with the animals, create something completely separate and call that thing woman. Took woman out of man, from man's side. So you can see that they complement one another. So that is, for me, that is my primary principle. Anyone who wants to talk about submission and headship, I tell the person, don't talk about Ephesians. Go to Genesis. Go to, if you want to be married, it's like buying a car. The person who designed the car has certain rules. You cannot go into marriage and not go by the rules that the person who created marriage has made. The person who created marriage is God. So he starts from Genesis and talks about the role of the wife. Okay, you jump to Ephesians. Even before we start talking about husband and wife, Ephesians 5:21 starts by saying submitting to one another. So the word submission starts from there. I also advise that please don't read Ephesians 5 in isolation, because Ephesians 5 was towards the conclusion of whoever the author of Ephesians was. He was making an argument about our relationship with Christ. So start with Ephesians chapter 1. Read the whole thing. And then you begin to understand that this marriage that the writer of Ephesians is talking about is meant to mirror our relationship, the church and Christ. Really, that is what the writer of Ephesians is talking about a man leaving, cleaving, they becoming one flesh. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So you need to look at it from that perspective. When you look at it from that perspective, you then begin to understand that submission is not about being a servant. Because first of all, you're submitting to one another. And I'll challenge any man who's watching this program. There is no woman that if you show love to, will not willingly submit to you. I mean, for me, when people ask me, I say, what's the submission? I don't understand what you're talking about. Because if the marriage is working and everyone is doing what they are meant to do, I tell men that your role to love is more serious than a woman's role to submit. Because the man's role as the head of the home and the man's role to love his wife is equated to the love of Christ. I haven't died for anybody. I'm not sure whether I can die for somebody. But the responsibility the Bible puts on the man is love your wife to the point of sacrificing your life, washing her with the water of the word. If you are not reading the Bible, how do you wash your wife with the water of the word?
Dr. ASHIDAM, on that note, we have learned, haven't we?
We have. Massively.
And I think that will be on the note that we'll have to wrap up this program. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your experiences. And thank you for being very open. And hopefully, lives will be impacted. You know, we'll all learn. I have learned a lot. I have learned something. And I hope and pray that everybody out there will learn something. Thank you so much. And one of these days, we'll have to be back and to talk about marriage and sex.
Oh, hallelujah.
I'll be back with a bit of me. Today, I want to get something off my chest. Something that's been bothering me for some time now. I am a Christian, yes, and a struggling one. I'm not perfect. But it really gets me upset when I hear people say that. Be your husband's wife, but be his prostitute in the bedroom. What's that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Of course, I believe in exploring. I believe in being adventurous with your husband. But in the name of we being told that you have to be a prostitute in bed for your husband, women are being subjected to all sorts of animalistic stuff, are being abused sexually, made to do things that are demeaning to her person as a woman. Something she doesn't want to do. All because she's been told that she has to be a prostitute in bed for her husband, and that if she doesn't do it, her husband's side chick will do it. But woman, I'm not the one to tell you what to do or what not to do. But you are a human being. You were created in the image of God. Your husband is your husband. He's your lover. He's your friend. Feel free. Explore with him. Enjoy sex with him. Be intimate with him in whatever way. but you are no animal. Some women are being subjected to things that even animals don't do. All because some men have become really sick, watching pornography, reading things, and being told lies by their friends and colleagues. How can a wife be told that bring your friend for us to have a threesome? Hey, let me check myself. I'm not here to judge. But all I'm saying is that, woman, know your worth. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is important. But it is not worth you demeaning yourself, you losing your mind, you walking around losing your confidence, all because of what you are being subjected to in the bedroom. I remain the woman with super crazy faith in God. What do I know? All I know is that, woman, you are beautiful. You are worthy. You were created in the image of God. You deserve to be treated right. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to stand tall. Among women, you are favored. Remember, if that man doesn't treat you right, his prayers will not reach God. It doesn't mean that you should curse him. See you same time next week. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.
Coming here today, I learned that it's not about our friends. It's about us. It's about us getting married to the right person. Because marriage it's a lifetime thing. You can't just rush into it. You have to take your time, have patience, and wait on God for the right time. Because at the right time, God will give you whoever you want.
Marriage is not something we rush into. Take your time. And then when your time comes, God will bring the right person to you.
I've come to know that before you go into marriage, you have to know your partner so well before you go into it. Otherwise, you're going to make so many mistakes and you're going to have a lot of regrets.